knows us, that knows them, that can vouch for us and get me their number. And Jan said, well, it's going to take a lot of work to do that, and if God is really directing us to do this, why don't you just call him? And I said, I don't have his number. She said, you go over to the phone and put your finger in the zero hole, you come around, all the way around, you take your finger out, and then you wait for a lady to say, number please. I was a little irritated. Jan was a very strong lady and pretty much always in charge. And so I said, okay. And so I put my finger in the zero hole and I did it just as she said, and I waited, and the lady said, number please, and I said, Bart, Starr, Green Bay. The lady said, here's the number. I get the number. I was 27, Bart was 28, and so I'm nervous as can be because I have to call now. So I call, and a man says, hello. And I said, is this the Starr residence? And the man said, yes, it is. I said, is Mr. Starr there? And he said, no Mr. Starr here. Bart's here. I said, that's who I want to talk to. He said, well, you're talking to him. I explained who I was, and I said, we've got this dream to start this boys' ranch, and we really need help. Would it ever be possible to meet with you and your wife? And he said, sure. And I said, how do we set up a meeting? He said, well, you want to come to Green Bay right now? And I said, sure. So I hung up the phone and I said to Jan, yeah, we can go to Green Bay and meet with them right now. And she said, oh, great. Like, why not? We drive to Green Bay. Bart meets us at the door, takes us in the kitchen. Jerry's making supper. I said, we'll make our presentation quick so we don't mess up your supper plans. Jerry says, in her southern drawl, you make your program quick and you're going to mess up our supper plans because you're having supper with us. So I thought, this is interesting. Bart said, let's sit on the couch and kind of learn what you're thinking about here, and then we'll eat. So I sat down and I said, got some pictures of this boys' ranch, and this is the philosophy. We want it faith-based, and we want to teach boys to be hard workers, and blah, blah, blah. And a couple times, Cherry said, oh, Bart, that's just what you and I believe. We want it to be faith-based. Oh, Bart, that's just what we believe. Bart put his hand in the middle of my three-ring binder and said, Cherry, don't tip our hand until we see the bottom line. So I was feeling pretty good at this point. I was done, and Bart says, what do you want from us? I said, Bart, everything. I don't know how to set up a board of directors. I don't know how to set up a 501c3 charity. I don't know. I have no name recognition to raise money. And Bart turned to his right on the couch, and Cherry was there. And I looked, and Cherry did a little tiny nod. I wasn't sure it was a nod until Bart turned back and said, I guess we're on board. Let's go eat and talk over how we can work together. So Cherry gave the nod that they were going to be on board. Now that is the most important meeting ever about this boys' ranch. And this is all possible because Cherry nodded her head. I get choked up when I just talk about that. But they have been amazing. Now, they weren't just figureheads. And Bart and I went and talked with Bill Aylward, and we needed some money bad, and Bill was on the board of directors of a bank and ended up getting the bank to pick up a mortgage. And he had Louise sign something. And it wasn't until much later, and it was years later, when Louise told the story, that she found out she had co-signed on the mortgage of this property. And she said to Bill, what if that place fails? And Bill said, Louise, you'll have the nicest resort home on the Wolf River. So talk about people sticking out their neck. And this vehicle program is amazing. And Gary Williams and Luann are here today from the Three Lakes, and that car program rescued us. It's amazing. Well, too much detail. I've got to get through this thing. And I could talk all day, and that's not right. But Jan passed away about 2.5 years ago from a long bout with cancer. And we started 5 years before that writing a book about the founding of Rawhide. The book is titled Our 351 Sons, because over 35 years, about 10 boys at a time from the courts lived with us personally here in that big lodge. and we were able to just have a wonderful relationship with them. And if a boy comes here to Rawhide in any of our programs, if we can have him for 3 months, 8 out of 10 will never be in trouble with the law again. It's very successful. And we have 2 boys that we had kind of given up on. We, 1 in 20 boys that would come here just doesn't want to be a part of it. And there was 2 boys we had given up on. And Bart took one of the boys to his football camp at Stevens Point. And kind of on his own, he was visiting with this boy and realized that things weren't going well. And the boy said he wished he had been able to play football. So he took him to football camp. And the boy came back, went back into New London High School. As a senior, was a starter on the high school starting safety, all conference awards, did fantastic. Went in the military in 2 years with 4 meritorious promotions, came out as a full sergeant in 2 years. Another boy from Green Bay, same story, never played football, went to a different football camp with Bart, went back to Green Bay as a senior, did excellent, ended up working in Des Moines, ended up playing semi-pro football for 7 years, and I said, well, I think the Barnstormer, I said, who else was on your team? He said, our quarterback for 3 years was Kurt Warner. Not too bad a quarterback, actually. So I said, man, did you ever think of pro ball? And he said, I actually had a request to work out with a pro team. And I said, how'd it go? He said, I practice every weekend for 2 times with the Barnstormers. These pro players practice every day. Now I'm not going to do that. So, but he played 7 years. Okay. The book is 330 pages, 120 colored pictures, a lot of Packer and Starr pictures in it. And we just happen to have a little booth over in the corner here with those books. They sell for $30, $15 profit. That all goes to Rawhide. And you will absolutely love the book. We've sold about 5,000 in the first year. So come over and see us and pick up a book, and I guarantee you will love it. So thank you again. Now, it's my honor to have Denny Tatum come up, and he is the director of the Green Bay Packer Hall of Fame. So he's going to come up and share with you.